joining us today for the Flourishing Workplace podcast. It is a huge honor to have you here today. Jason, I got to know you a little earlier this year, and I really am delighted to be here speaking with you. I've seen the work that you're doing. You are an experienced employment counselor with a passion for helping others identify their vocational fit, which is so important these days. You've supported not only students, the vulnerable populations, and young professionals with achieving their career and employment goals. You're also a mental health advocate who leads a volunteer-driven organization called the National Hope Movement. The goal for the National Hope Movement is to help connect others with one another and the resources to achieve mental well-being. In your spare time, Jason can be found on the bike trails, as well as you love playing spike ball and bocce ball. How lovely. And you've also taken up interest in hiking, I see, right? Jason says he can get a little competitive. Last but not least, Jason's is a Leaf fan. We won't say that anything with our Flames fans over here, which may change tonight, depending on their outcome. This is exciting. And if you'd like to learn more, Jason can be found on several social media sites. And also, he loves going out for coffee and conversations. What a delight. Hello, Jason.
Hi, Al.
Yes.
Yes, thank you so much. It's great to be here.
Fantastic. So, Jason, I'll start with asking about accessibility. This is such a buzzword these days. What can you tell me about how that is making an impact on our world today, as well as on mental health?
Well, I think thinking about the word accessibility, I think the reality is, and especially given COVID and everything that's happened during COVID, I think that everybody is starting to have the conversation around mental health, whether it be someone who's falling through the cracks because of vulnerability, or whether it's an athlete like Carey Price from the Montreal Canadiens. I think accessibility is that mental health impacts us all. And so what we want to do at National Hope Movement is we actually want to recognize that whether you're, in a small town, or you're a big city, or an athlete, or maybe you're someone who's barely getting by, we want to create a conference that's for everybody.
That is really lovely because it doesn't speak to just one area of a disability, and it's talking about accessibility for all, because there are so many disabilities that are not visible, and people then tend to assume. Have you come across anybody with that and what they're fighting for their mental health and well-being?
I think in my line of work, I've come across many different people with many different backgrounds. And obviously there's groups of people that I've worked with that have a diagnosed mental illness or a diagnosed personality disorder. But then there are times where there's people that you would say look all right. They have a lot going for them. They're professional. They're thriving in their career. But inwardly, they're struggling. They're caught in this tension, and maybe for them, they don't feel supported. Maybe for them, they don't even know how to talk about it because that conversation has a stigma attached to it. And so what we wanted to do is create a place for the CEO and the 15-year-old and everybody else in between to have a conversation around the table about mental health, because again, it impacts us all. And some people who, might look like they have it all together are screaming out saying, hey, I need some support here.
That is really insightful. Thank you so much for saying that. And, you talked about screaming and all of that in silence, where the feelings is that they're not seen, they're not heard. And what you just mentioned is that I see you, I hear you. What that does is build on connection. Now, why is that important for you as well as for the National Hope Movement?
I think, so I didn't actually start National Hope Movement. That was started by Connie, who works for Flourishing Workplace. And then she gave me the opportunity to lead it. And I think we would all agree that mental health is created socially. And what I mean by that is, I think that psychology is great, and I think that counseling is great, and I think that having a life coach is great. All those things are great tools. But at the end of the day, people need people. Whether it's someone down the hall in your apartment building or it's someone that's a phone call away, having a person that you can talk to, that not only that you can talk to, but that will listen to you. See, keyword listening. That I believe is where healing begins.
That is brilliant, because when you know you matter, mattering is such a huge thing. And we've had fantastic, I listened to Zach Mercurio's talks. I have heard him at the Flourishing Workplace Summit. And it is really impactful is that even when we go to, say, for example, a coffee shop, and we're putting our order, these individuals at the back of the counter are so busy with so many other things that are going on that they don't give that eye contact. And the person receiving that feels they do not matter. But mattering is an inside job. So with having said that, how could you think inclusivity, and how do we then create also the feeling of being heard when it's not present?
That's a great question. I think that inclusivity begins with listening. I think hearing one another's stories, I think is powerful and valuable. And the reality is we're not all going to agree on everything, but what we can agree on is let's listen to each other's stories and build from there.
That is amazing. Thank you so much for that, Jason. So what is the theme for this year's National Hope Movement 2022?
It's real people, real stories. And I know that that can sound like a bit of a controversial statement, but really what we wanted to do was we wanted to create a conference where, Canadians who wouldn't normally have a platform, probably don't have, a background in public speaking, but they have a story. And the reason we approached it this way is because, if I have a neighbor down the street that comes from a similar background as I do, when they share their story of victory, I feel like I can connect to that because it's a little bit more relevant. I praise the Tony Robbins and those great speakers across the world, but sometimes it's hard for me to connect with individuals like that because I just don't come from that lifestyle. I don't have that following, but there's people in my community that I can really identify with. And when they share their stories, I walk away going, oh, this isn't the end of my story, and I can get up and I can move forward.
Oh my gosh, that just gave me goosebumps, because there are so many people out there that are struggling in silence, that they feel that they are alone in this.
Yeah.
We are not alone. And as much as what COVID has done is put us in silos, there has been some great, beautiful things that have come out of this. And that is that hope piece. And the name of the National Hope Movement is exactly that. Where can one find more information on the National Hope Movement, as well as the 2022 speakers?
Yeah, absolutely. You can find information on our Instagram page, our Facebook page, National Hope Movement, LinkedIn, we're all over there. We have a website, nationalhopemovement.com. And we also, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I'm missing.
Facebook,
I said that. And we have a link tree tied to our Instagram. So registration is live now. Tickets are free. If you want to. Yeah, free. Again,
wow. Sign me up.
Well, you know where to go. Go to the Eventbrite page and click and register. If anyone's interested in making a donation to this cause or even being a part of this cause, you can email us at nationalhopemovement@gmail.com. We are looking for donations when it comes to services, mental health services, whether it's like a massage certificate or one person has donated already 12 free sessions for psychology.
That's incredible. And that is that hope, is that you talked about a community and mental health and all of that. This is really what it's bringing it down to, is that creating a community, because we are all walking each other home and we're all facing those stigmas. And sometimes those voices, that noise gets a little loud. So what you've done in a very short time is create that hope that yes, real stories, real journeys, real people. And I wish you the very best in the event. How long have you been going on for right now?
I believe that this is our 4th year. I was involved in last year's conference, and when I saw the conference and I saw the impact it was making, I was like, I definitely want to jump on board.
Fantastic. Jason, it's been really amazing speaking with you today. Thank you so much for taking time from your busy day to speak with us, to share a message that we are not alone, that each of us have stories, that each of us can open up and share these conversations, because this is what it is. This is the reality of real people. Thank you once again. Enjoy the rest of your day. This is incredible chatting with you.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.